Did you know that? Okay, I'll start again. I always forget that part. I'm so sorry, Jesse. Okay, rewind. Oh, gosh. Okay. It's always all about me inside a minister's mind. That's the title I came up with. And, I've been looking forward to this talk for a very, very long time. And I'll tell you why. I don't know about you. Maybe you've never thought about this before, but for a long time, I often wondered how Unity ministers came up with their talks. I came from Unity of Fort Myers. Jim Rosemurky was the senior minister down there, and he had series of talks. He did a series one time on Jesus, 26 lessons, 26 weeks of different ways of looking at Jesus, the man, Jesus, the Christ presence. There was it was a ton. Jesus, the parable teller, all of the storyteller, that kind of thing. It was amazing. And I really was intrigued by how did they do it, right? Every single Sunday, you got to come up with a talk. Now, I don't have to come up with a talk anymore every single Sunday, but for 3 years at Unity of Central Massachusetts, I was doing that, right? And how did it happen? Well, the best way that I can describe it to you is by this statement: it's always all about me. I heard a Unity minister talking about it. Her name is Kelly Isola, and she had said it once. She said, "You guys want to know why we're talking about A, B, and C today? It's because that's what I'm going through." And so whatever I'm experiencing, whatever seems to be crossing my desk, whatever seems to be coming across my computer, usually has a theme to it. I'm usually dealing with something or other, and I'm going to share it with the people that I'm speaking with so that we can all work on it together, right? So that's where I came up with this. It's always all about me. Have you ever thought that? Have you ever felt that it's always all about you? Or do you have a friend in your life where you've said it's always all about them? That phrase says something, and it sometimes has a negative connotation to it, right? It has this, oh, it's always all about them. Why do they have to make everything always all about them, right? Well, I want to talk about making it all about us, where you can say, hey, it is all about me, and in a good way, in a way that we can help others around us and in our community. Oh my goodness. Maybe it is all about us. Maybe it really is all about me. Maybe it really is all about you. Let's keep an open mind to that possibility. In order to do that, we have to look at what appears in front of us, right? In any given moment. Everything happens in the now. You've heard that, right? Everything happens in the present moment. Nothing happens really in the past or in the future. Everything happens in the now. So the first thing I do is I think about what is appearing in front of me. What am I walking through? For instance, our daily word today, right? It comes up, and what's the first sentence that hits me? Joy, it has been said, comes much more from wanting what we have than from having what we want. Let me say that again, just this phrase. It's not about having what we want, it's about wanting what we have. Well, that just hit me right between the eyes, like a spiritual 2x4. Yes, it got my attention. Immediately speaking, it got my attention. And the reason it got my attention is because it brings me into the present moment. What have I got right now? And do I really want it? Do I really appreciate it? Am I really appreciating all the things that I do have, as opposed to seeing everything I don't have, right? So just that one statement from that one reading, and all of a sudden I know, okay, yep, that works for me. Maybe I'll work on that. Maybe I need to talk about that a little bit. Maybe I need to remember that. Maybe I need to remember to be grateful for what I have, and remember that, things could be different in a moment. Things change on a dime. In the Daily Word, it also talked about looking for possibilities rather than focusing on problems. Does anybody else have that issue besides me? Really? Because I'm telling you, just because I have the word Reverend in front of my name means absolutely nothing, right? We're all on the same level playing field. Don't kid yourself. I just happened to have gone through this program, and I graduated, I got ordained, but we're all dealing with the same things at the same time, maybe a little different timing from here and there, but it's all in general the same. It's like, wait a minute, why am I placing my focus on my problems? Let me come back to the present moment. What are the possibilities? So it's always all about me. What's going on in my current life right now? What's going on in your, I'm going to invite you to do this, to think about this week. What's going on currently in your life? What's your storyline right now? What's happening? So for instance, some of you know that my father passed away in June. Some of you may or may not know that my brother, who was living with my father along with my daughter, my brother has gotten very sick, and he is in the process of transitioning. I don't know how long it's going to be, because he's choosing no treatment, so he doesn't have a doctor to tell us really what's happening with his body. So I don't know how long it's going to be, but he's definitely getting weaker. He's losing a lot of weight, and he's in a lot of pain. And so that's going on in my life. I have my daughter who's very scared because she's about to lose a second family member that she has been living with for almost 20 years. The three of them lived together for a very long period of time. So that's going on. And you know what's going on in my head? Lack consciousness. How am I going to have enough to take care of the two of them now that my dad is gone? How am I going to be able to hold on to the house? How am I going to be able to pay a mortgage? How am I going to be able to pay property taxes? All things that I've not had to do, right? And all of a sudden, poof, there it is. But you know what else happens? What else happens is I have to come up with some talks. Do you remember last month I spoke to you about being the light in the world? I spoke the beginning of September about that. And I brought up the poem by Amanda Gorman, The Hill We Climb, that she read at the inauguration, and we talked about that. So lack consciousness and being the light. That's how I deal with it. That's what's going on in this Unity minister's mind, right? In the moment, I've got challenges, and I'm finding ways to be inspired. Comes across my desk, comes through an email. I go on Facebook and I see somebody posting an inspiring quote. I know that this happens for you too. And that's why I'm inviting you to join me in this process of thinking about, okay, well, maybe it really is all about me. What's going on in my life, and what am I being inspired by? Because I'm telling you, that will help lift you up. It's what I learned in Unity. It's all about energy. It's all about prayer and meditation, right? That's what we talk about in all of our teachings. That divinity that is within us can be used, or it can be ignored. What are you doing with it this week? Are you going to use it, or are you going to ignore it and just focus on the problem? Because we're having this human experience, right? We're having this human experience and we're here and we're learning and we're growing. And the really, really good news is that we're never going to graduate. I now find that to be very good news because there's no ending. So I don't have to worry about catching up or finishing. If there's a deadline like that, I always try to finish first. You ever have students in your class like that? I'm on that one. Yeah, it's annoying. No. Right? But I'm working on this mindfulness. And again, I'm talking with you now. It's always all about me inside a Unity minister's mind. It's what can I share with the group that I'm joining? Right? Here I am with you today, Unity Radiant Light. I am sharing from the heart. I am sharing what is real. It's not a Bible lesson this week. It's an energy lesson. It's a mindfulness lesson. It's a how to stay in the present moment lesson, right? Because this stuff works for all of us basically the same way. So I have this consciousness of lack that I notice a lot, and I'm working on releasing it, right? So all of a sudden I come across some work by Pema Chodron, and it's talking about how you have to sit with it. You can't try to ignore the fears that come up. You have to sit with it, and it will dissolve if you're willing to sit with it a little bit. And then all of a sudden, a class on prosperity consciousness comes up, and I'm going to start that today, right? So I'm stuck in this lack consciousness, or I feel like I'm stuck in it, and all of these possibilities are coming up. How many have I ignored, and how many have I taken advantage of? This is the most important part of it. Am I going to take advantage of every single opportunity? I am not going to kid you. I don't care if I'm a reverend or not. I do not take advantage of every single possibility that comes along. I don't. But I'm getting better at keeping my mind and heart open so that I will take advantage of some more things. Because honestly, any one of you could give this talk and talk from your own perspective about how it's always all about you and how you are dealing with whatever's going on in your life in the moment, and what inspires you to keep moving forward, what inspires you to not give up, what inspires you. Maybe this talk will help someone. I hope. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to have any more ideas about lack. I know they're going to come again, but they're not going to be as strong, and I'm not going to stick around as long. And in the meantime, I'm working on training my mind into that prosperity abundance, into that living in the moment, into mindfulness, whatever it is you want to work on. See what comes across your desk. It does not have to be a negative phrase. It's always all about me. Now, I wouldn't advise you to go around to your friends and constantly say to them, hey, did you know it's always all about me? That's probably not a good idea, right? They wouldn't appreciate it because they're not here to hear the talk to get the whole context. But you can live from that understanding of it really is always all about us. It really is. This week, join me. Let's take 10 minutes every morning. We'll all do it at the same time. We won't know it. We won't be on Zoom. We won't be connected physically speaking, but in our own minds, 10 minutes every morning, we are going to just sit and think about what's going on, open our minds and our hearts to whatever comes across, and look for the theme that we might be able to work on next. Right? This is how this Unity minister comes up with the topics. Whatever is going on in my life is going to lead me to material that it's something that I want to share with you. That's the whole focus of my ministry, is to share with you where I'm at, what I'm working on, what I found, whatever you want to talk about, however you want to say it. It's an exciting realization when you start to tap into understanding how it really is always all about you. Even though I would say it's always all about me, right? We can all think the same thing and we can be helping each other. There was a phrase in the song that Candida sang in I Was Here that said, life is more than I thought it would be. And that zones into my experience perfectly. That is exactly what has happened for me. Never in a million years would I think that I would have the opportunity to be here with such a beautiful group of people with lights shining in their eyes that they don't even see, but I do. That divinity coming through where I could tell you, this is where I'm at and you can join me. Right? It's a beautiful thing if we just start to understand and open our eyes and open our hearts. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you today. And remember, it's always all about me. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Let's take some of this into meditation for just a couple of moments. So I invite you to get comfortable wherever you are in your seat, and just take a couple of deep breaths just to relax a little bit. You know, release any tension in your body. Just breathe deeply. And together, let's say the meditation affirmation that's showing on the screen now. Together, I am open and receptive to the spirit of truth, healing in me what needs to be healed and revealing to me what needs to be revealed. So now just take a deep breath. Exhale out slowly. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. And as we breathe deeply, we remember that we are one. There is a connection between all of us and with the source of all that is. We may call that source God, the good, omnipotence. We may call it spirit or divine mind. No matter what label we give it, we know that that power is within us. And that's what makes it okay for us to realize it's always all about us. We tap into the divine joy that is within us. The simple joys of wanting what we have. Embracing the joys that this day offers. Finding satisfaction in taking care of our home, taking care of our duties at work. Treasuring our connections and our relationships with so many beautiful people. Today, we choose to look for possibilities. Today, we choose to open our eyes and open our hearts. We welcome new ideas. We trust that inspiration can come from anywhere, at any time, for any reason. Our arms are open wide to embrace it now. We take these thoughts into the silence. Take a deep breath. We exhale out slowly. And we realize just how blessed we are to know that we can gather together with a group of people who all know that it's always all about us, and how well that works for us, how well we work together, holding each other up in times of challenge, congratulating us when we succeed and have victories to share. The one realization is this, that we never know when or where there will be an opportunity for us to help. One kind word, one gentle suggestion can change a person's life. And so together today, we choose to share from the heart, trusting that the universe is on our side, trusting that God within guides us every step of the way. Take another deep breath together. Exhale out slowly and completely. Feel the body completely relaxed. We say, thank you, sweet spirit. And so it is. Amen.